everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Orphea and in today's video I'm going to be showing you 2 ways on how to wear cyber falls. Now, first things first, let's thank the sponsor of these videos, cyberlox.co.uk. They were kind enough to send me products to use in these videos. They sent me these gorgeous Orphea falls, which are available on their website and that they custom made to fit what I personally wanted. They also sent me the tubular crin that I used in my previous video to create my own falls, a black headband, these awesome cyber goggles, and also a cyber mask that I will be featuring in my dancing videos. So thanks again to Cyberlox shop for sending me these products and working with me on these videos. I am not paid in any other way, shape or form for them. Cyberloxshop.co.uk is a UK based website that sells Cyberlox, cyber wigs and also pieces to make your own falls, as well as connect long hair to make dreads, etc. But they mainly specialize in making amazing cyber falls and cyber wigs that they have in lots of different colors, lengths and designs. You can see a lot more of designs that they offer on their Facebook and Instagram page, which I will be linking in the description box, as well as a link to this gorgeous Orphea set. Now, they did provide me with a discount code for you guys to use. It is Orphea15 and it will give you a 15% discount on all of their cyber falls and cyber wigs. So if you're interested in their products, feel free to check them out. I want to thank them again so much for working with me on these videos. And now let's get started. So with my very fluffy hair, I'm going to show you how to do 2 methods of wearing Cyberlox. First things first, let's get started on what you will need. You will need a hairbrush because you have to brush your hair and make sure it goes into a bun easily. I personally use an assortment of different hair ties to make my buns. I prefer using a little bit more sturdier ones just because they tend to hold a lot better. Things I also tend to use are these bobby pins or hairpins or whatever you call these. I use them to pin back the back of my hair because it's not super long and it tends to fall down a little bit, and also to secure the falls if needed. You will also maybe be needing a fine tooth comb. I use this to separate out my fringe because I don't want my fringe to go up in a bun. What you might also need is a black hairband. This is to kind of create more of a separation between your actual hair and the Cyberlox. This is totally optional. I'm going to show you how it looks, but I personally barely ever wear them. But be sure to put this on before you actually start putting on the Cyberlox, because otherwise it will be near impossible to get it over your head. And with this also comes one of my favorite accessories, which are cyber goggles. I am wearing these ones that were provided to me also from Cyberlox shop. So put them around your neck the way I'm doing right now, just to make it easier on yourself, not having to do it afterwards, because let me tell you, that sucks. And I'm also already kind of adjusting the size as well, because I like it when these are a little bit more tight. So I'm gonna start with my personal favorite method, the 2-bun method. And this is actually really easy. You split your hair in half, and if I'm looking a little bit that way, it's because my mirror is there. So split your hair in half. This doesn't have to be 100% exact, by the way. And then what I like to do is actually already grab 2 hair ties onto my hand, and I will create a tiny ponytail by the side that I'm not immediately using. So I'm just gonna split my hair and create a ponytail here on the side, just to keep this hair out of the way when I'm working on the other side. So then what I do is I will just quickly check that my fringe is doing what I want it to do, and that I have a nice line separating my fringe from the rest of my hair. This naturally falls like this because I recently got my fringe cut differently than it was before. Anyhow, so what you want to do is you want to have your hair tie, you want to have at least 2 on your wrist, so I'm just going to put 2, and then you want to grab your hair and start pulling it upward. And this is where your hairbrush will come in handy, because you might want to just go over it with your hairbrush so that it looks nice and smooth. Now you won't be seeing this afterwards, but I just prefer the way it looks. And you will already see that I have hairs flying away here. It's because they're not long enough to go into the actual bun, and that's okay. That's why we have bobby pins, that's why there is hairspray, so you can just secure that afterwards. So what I'm gonna do now is just keep taking the hair and just keep brushing it through kind of with my fingers and pulling this up on my head. And once I'm kind of happy with the placement, I think this will look good, then I just take this rubber band and I just make a tiny ponytail on my head. And if I feel the placement is not good, this is the best moment to just start fiddling with it, just to play with it. I want it to be a little bit more forward, so I will just be pulling on it, making it look more the way I want it. So this is kind of the placement that I go for, and I want to do the same thing on the other side. But first we want to create the bun, so I just swirl my hair around it, take the hair tie and just put it on twice, and it will create this really messy hair bun, but it actually holds the cyber falls a lot better than just a ponytail. But this hair I'm not going to be bothered right now to fix it. I'm going to do that after, once I've done this. And I will always have kind of bits poking out, but that's okay. If you really don't like it, you can always take a bobby pin and secure those. I personally am not too bothered. The one thing I will do is just take a big piece of the bun and just pin it inwards, so that afterwards when the falls are on, these don't sink out. And I want to put this underneath where the elastic band is that we just used to create these buns, so that everything is nice and secure. So now I'm gonna take the Orphea falls, again by Cyberlox shop. These are super full falls, and as you look at them, you can kind of see that they are structured. So you can see that there is a big part of just Cyberlox on this side, and then on the more top layers, there is these foam pieces and Rexless, which makes a super cool look. So you actually prefer, well, I personally prefer having those on the top of my look. So what you will do is you take the falls and you want to actually fold them over. So you want to have the part that you want on top on the bottom. And then you will place this to the side of your falls, and then afterwards you will flip it over. So I will try and show you to the best of my abilities. And since this is an elastic, you want to tie it around with 2 knots, because otherwise it might come undone. So as I'm doing, I'm placing these falls around the bun the way I think they will sit nicest. And I take these really long elastic bits, I make sure it's actually around, I tie it once, and I tie it twice. And then you will just flip it over the bun, like so. And then it's fiddling time, because I'm never happy with them the first time around, because I like to play around with the placement of my falls. But for now I'm gonna leave them as is, do the other side, and then I'm gonna show you my method of kind of rearranging falls and making them look even better than they already do. So again, for the other side, we're gonna do exactly the same thing. So what I do is I look at the falls and see the way they are supposed to be. So again, we have mostly cyber falls on the one side and mostly the foam pieces, etc. on the other. So you want to flip that on top of your head, lay it flat, tie it around, and just flip it over so that these foam bits actually stick out. This one is sticking out a lot even, but they will give you a more voluminous look. So again, put this flat on your head, tie it around, make sure that it is actually really well around the bun, and give it a good tie, and then tie it once more. And then you will flip them over and just make sure that they sit the way you want them to sit. And I really love this set of falls. They were created kind of to what I prefer in falls, so that's super awesome of Cyberlox shop that they did that. So now you have this look, and you can actually see a very big gap between your 2 buns. So what I like to do is something that I know a few people do, and is actually crossing over falls. So what I like to do is I take 2 of the same color, and that to me actually makes very much sense. So you will take them and you will tie them in the middle of your head. And the way that I like to do this is I kind of pull on them, and this actually makes them come closer to each other. So what I do is I actually pull quite hard on these because I want them to sit closer to each other. And then I tie a second knot so that they won't move anymore. And this is kind of my secret to keeping my falls from not falling. So just by doing this with one strand on each side, it already makes a huge difference in how they look. And now it's actually just time to rearrange the falls the way you want them to sit. So right now I'm just gonna start playing around with them, and you can cross over multiple pieces of falls. So if I wanted, let's see, I want these red ones, this both come from the same side. I'm gonna try and look for a red one on this side that I can cross over. Yes, here is one. So I always try and take the same color, so I might just tie these across as well. And this just helps to keep the falls looking like one big hole and not just like two sets of falls you put on separately. So once you're happy with the look, I'm still gonna play around with this a little bit afterwards. You wanna first take your headband, and the way you put them on is completely up to you. I like to just go right on top of my fringe, and I sometimes put it on my ears. That's actually what I'm gonna do today, but I feel like it hides a lot of my fringe this way, so I like to kind of pull it upwards a little bit more, like so. And this way it will give less of an effect that this is fake hair, but that it looks like actual hair. And then of course these goggles will really complete the look, so you actually just put them on top of the headband, or if like me you don't wear a headband most of the time, you just wear them on top of your head. So this is what the two bun method looks like. It is, as I said, two buns here on top of my head, and then I use a few Cyberlox to just tie them together and keep them together. And I think crossing a few threads over and tying them together with a double knot is really important if you want to keep the set on your head for the entire day without them falling down or sagging down. So now let's go to the one bun method. My hair is looking all sorts of fluffy right now because I have just undone my two buns. And if you want to wear a headband and goggles, put those on the forehead, because otherwise you will not be able to get them over the falls. So for the one bun method, we're just going to create one bun on top of the head. You need two elastic bands for this, of course a hairbrush, and maybe some hairspray and bobby pins to secure the back. So again, we're going to do the exact same thing as for the two buns. We're going to make a bun on top of the head. And with a hairbrush you can kind of guide the hair upward without it making too many bumps and lumps and stuff. So that's better. That is the center of my head and on top of my head. So now I'm gonna make a bun with this again. There we go. Now the back, I'm not going to be too bothered with what it looks like right now because I'm just going to put cyber falls over it. If you want the back to look nice, you can use bobby pins to kind of put all the fluffy hairs up, or you could use hairspray, etc. to make it look nice, but I personally don't mind because my cyber falls will be falling over it anyways. And again, you will be doing the same thing. You will be flipping over the hair falls once you tie them. And I think I'm gonna first start with one of these falls because they are pretty full. So what you want to do is you want to either put one in front, or you can kind of put them kind of to the side and stack multiple ones. I'm gonna start with one fall and see how that looks. So again, you have one side that has mainly cyber falls that you want at the bottom, and then one side with the foam and with the accent pieces that you want to be at the top. So you put this side, which is going to be the bottom, on first, and then we will flip it over afterwards. So I'm just going to bend forward, tie it around, and make a knot once, and twice. And then you just want to flip it backwards. And this is with just one of the falls that I used previously. So this already looks really cool. But if you want it to be even more full, which a lot of people like, which I totally get, you can add the second one. So what I would then recommend is putting this one a little bit more backwards. Taking the second false, again putting the side you want to be upward, downward, and just tying it around, which is going to be a tiny bit harder. Just make sure that you go totally under the other set of falls. And then just tie it once and twice. And then you want to flip that over as well. And this will create a extremely massive false that really sits on top of your head. If you want to wear the goggles as well, just put those up as well from your neck upwards. And just place them however you think it looks best. And I'm kind of pulling on my fringe because my fringe doesn't tend to sit that well with this look. So these are the same falls, the same exact falls, but with the one bun method. So we have one bun supporting everything at the top of my head, and you should of course be using the method that you personally prefer, the look of, the way that it wears off, etc. I am personally a very big fan of the two bun method, but I think the one bun method that I'm rocking right now also works super well for all cyber falls. So it's just up to you what you prefer, how much hair you have, how comfortable you find either of these methods. I would recommend trying them both out and then deciding for yourself what looks best. So these were 4 cyber videos in a row. I will be doing some other content for now on my channel, but I will of course be making more cyber videos in the future. So stick around for that and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. There's new videos every single week and I would love to hear for every one of them. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you soon. Bye!